Hey guys, it's Mr. Wedge, and today we're going to draw a realistic drawing of a person, but we're going to use a skeleton to help us. So we're going to trace this guy, but we're going to take it from a dead person into a living person with a couple little tricks. So first thing we're going to do is put our name on the back and our class code 5-something. Flip it over, and you've got to have a printout of a skeleton, but it doesn't matter what pose it is. So this person looks like they're running. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I don't know how old they are, but that part's up to you, okay? You just need to be able to trace this and add to it. I'm going to use a light table that I make for this, but if you don't have a light table, most people don't, you could just put your picture behind it. You might be able to see it. Wow, look, you can already see that. But if you want to take it to a window, the light will come through the back and then you'll be able to see it and draw, okay? So, but I'm going to get my light table out. Alright, I've got a bunch of flashlights and just a clear drawer that I put them in. And I just put the drawer on top of the flashlights. There's a bunch of light coming through. So when I set my picture down that I want to trace, set it on top, I can see it a lot better and I can just draw on top of this. So, we've got to think about human beings. We all have skin. We all have bones inside of us that we don't see. And so what we're going to do is add things like skin and muscle and clothes to this person to make it look real. But when you're drawing a person, it's hard to make the torso, which is this part of the body, the right length. And usually we draw the legs a little too short. So tracing a skeleton is going to help us. So we're going to actually get real close to the skeleton wherever like the bony parts of our body are. But where we need to add skin and muscle and things like that, or organs, we're going to actually kind of go away from the skeleton a little bit. Let me show you what I mean. The top of my head is kind of hard, right? Because I can feel my skeleton in there. So I'm just going to trace the back of the skeleton's head. But I know I have a nose and the skeleton doesn't. So where I go to trace that, I'll probably add a nose there, right? You see that? And then I would come down for the chin. Now the skeleton has a really thin neck because it's just some vertebrae. So that would be a place where you would add some skin and muscle, okay, for your throat and everything. So the shoulders, I would come out and around. Nobody's arms are that thin unless they're in need of medical attention. So we're going to actually add some muscle, and it's up to you how much you add. But then your elbow, you can feel the bone in your elbow. So I might get real close to that. And then I might get farther out for this muscle, and then I might get close to the wrist again. So wherever you can feel a bone underneath your skin is a place where you would get real close to the skeleton. And wherever it's more fleshy, that's where you would just add more. You would make the shapes bigger, okay? So definitely make the arms thicker than they are on the skeleton. But like in the hands, you could just trace around the fingers. And you don't have to go super detailed with this. There we go. This is just to help you draw a more realistic person. And then once you have the pose, you can do whatever you want with it. So I think I'll make my person playing soccer. Looks like they're running. And I kind of traced the person on this side of my paper. So that'll give me room to add more stuff. And also you get to like decorate the clothes. Alright, don't go real close to this part because we all have intestines and a stomach and everything in here. So we need to make room for that. So instead of going in like the ribs do, we're basically going to go more or less straight down to where the hip bone is, okay? Because we want to add all that. And sometimes it's hard to tell which leg is in front of which leg. I'm going to say this leg's in front, so I'm going to do this one first. And you definitely want to add a lot back here and to the thigh, because those are really strong muscles. Those are the biggest muscles in the body, is right in here. So you definitely want to make those shapes bigger than they are on the skeleton. There's a calf muscle right back here. It's like a bump. So you could add that and then get close to the bone for the ankle. But in the front, you can feel your shin bone, right? So that's where you would get close to the skeleton, like that. And then the foot, you could just basically go around it, make a shape. This is going to be a shoe anyway. You could even make a little line to show where the shoe is going to be. So I did this leg first, so I'm going to do this leg second, and it's going to be overlapping. But just like we talked about before with the thigh, those are huge muscles, so we need to go far away from the bone to make room for all that, right? So there we go. But then when we get down to the shin, we can get close to the bone again. And then we can add the calf muscle and then get close to the ankle, like that. And then just go around for the shoe. Okay? And you can add socks. Now we can put lines on this and hair and everything. So basically already we have a realistic person. And that's actually a better drawing of a person that I could do from my imagination. So I let the skeleton help me. So that's what tracing it's for. So now I can use my imagination and I can think about what the clothes are going to look like that this person's wearing. And you can actually make the clothes, you know, your clothes would kind of come out past your body a little bit, so you could draw them like that and then erase. You can look at somebody, or you could look at yourself in a mirror and see how your clothes are. I'm going to put shorts on my person, so I would add those, and then I could erase whatever would be underneath. So it's kind of like you're starting on the inside of the person and then working your way to the outside. And you can erase and add and change things as you go. And if something looks weird to you, you can just kind of, fix it. This hand kind of looks weird with the wrist. So I just changed the shape a little bit to make it more realistic. And you can do whatever you want with the hair. Use your imagination. And then eyes would be like right about there. Eyebrows. Mouth. Start with a pencil, erase as you go. And then when you're happy with it, you can color it in. I'm going to do blue and yellow for the grass. Oops, that's purple. There we go. So I put some cast shadows on the ground to make these things look more 3D, like they're actually on the grass, like the person and the ball. But you can also do form shadows too, so if the light's coming from above, which it usually is, then underneath things it might be a little bit darker. So you can go through with a brown colored pencil or a black colored pencil and add shadows underneath things wherever you think they would be. It just helps make it look more realistic. Okay, so get a print of a skeleton, and we're going to trace it, but we don't want it to look like a skeleton, we want it to look like a person. So we've got to add, muscle and skin and clothes wherever we need to. This is a good way to just practice making a person that's proportional. That just means like things are the right size compared to other things. And mine's not perfect, but it definitely helps to do this, so give it a try. Work hard, have fun.